Hello everybody. So I want to make a quick video explaining how I learn languages because I've gotten a lot of questions on the subject. And, well, first of all, you probably haven't seen my new room yet. I've been quite busy, so I haven't had time to really make any videos lately. But I have gotten a lot of questions on how I learn languages independently outside of classes, and I wanted to respond to that with a video. So, first off, I don't believe classes are a terrible idea. There are a couple advantages. There's a social aspect. You're learning with a bunch of other language learners. There's accountability. You have to go every, I don't know how often you take a class, but it's best if you have it 5 days a week. So you'd have to go every evening or every day, and I think those are good things. And you can have success if you take classes. But if you are taking a language class, I believe you have to do a lot of work outside of the class on top of it. And that's where I think the way I learn languages can work. It works with a class, or it works without classes. You can just do it on your own, and you can get the same effect. If you enjoy classes and you need that accountability, I encourage people to take language courses. If you're very dedicated and hardworking, you can learn a language just as well without classes. And I believe independently you could probably learn language more effectively and more efficiently. So you'll be able to do it faster if you have the right motivation. But what I do for language learning, I call it learning on the fly. Just like in hockey, you change on the fly, everything's fast-paced. That's kind of how it is. I'm a very busy person. I go to medical school here, and I don't have a lot of time to sit down and go through grammar books anymore, and I can't memorize vocabulary, and so I need to be very efficient with what I'm doing. And so when I'm studying languages, the only time I do it is when I'm walking to class, walking to the grocery store, maybe first thing I wake up or before I go to bed if I feel like it a little bit. I read a book that I have or watch a little bit of a movie in one of the languages that I'm stronger in. And then I do the learning of languages. I have a small book that has, it's Assimilant actually. And I work through that for my German every once in a while, but the vast majority of my learning is just listening. And there are a couple great programs, so I'm going to help give people some resources here. My favorite one that I use for Spanish and that has the same program for French is it's Radiolingua, and it's called CoffeebreakSpanish or CoffeebreakFrench. And each one is it has I think 80 lessons. And they incorporate just conversational. You listen to real interactions in it. It gives you a little bit of grammar explanations, but not a lot. And it's about this man from Scotland, Mark. He teaches a student how to learn these languages, how to conjugate, the basics about conjugation. It's for really an absolute beginner in learning a language. In Spanish, there's also an intermediate level, which follows like a show. They make a little telenovela, and that's called Showtime Spanish. And then after that, there's New Spanish, I think. But I didn't take that. I only did the first two. And that's how I got started in Spanish. And this way, if you listen to the language all the time, all that input, and if you repeat a lot of times I'll try to repeat a little bit in my head and mimic the accent. I believe it helps a lot. And it will boost your confidence, improve your vocabulary. You can pause and restart it. I also do this when I'm working out. I'll listen to language learning if I'm, at the beginning of the workout. And then when I get tired and lazy, I might need some music to motivate me. But so that's great. Also, a lot of people will dislike this kind of learning. You might dislike this. Another thing I love is Pimsleur. I learned Russian and Italian with Pimsleur. It costs a lot more money. I got Russian and Italian from a friend. And German. Actually, I'm using it for German too, and I go through Pimsleur 1, 2, and 3. A lot of people also complain that Pimsleur isn't good. It only has, they complain that it's, I don't know, I should make a video in itself about defending Pimsleur sometime, but, you don't get enough learning out of it. Well, if you go through all 90 lessons, and if you just start doing it when you're walking your dog, if I'm on vacation, I go for a 30-minute walk with my dog every day anyways. Back home. So it really just fits into my schedule, and when I'm doing something else, I don't find it too boring. If I try to sit down, I can never listen to a Pimsleur lesson, because it's true, they are boring. So you have to know how to use them effectively, and if you don't like it, don't use it, because it won't work for you, and it'll be a waste of your money. They offer the first lesson online, so you can listen to it. It's really boring to sit through the 30 minutes. But if you think like me, you like listening to language while you're walking around, it really does work, and it's how I learned Italian, only that way. And then I started reading books like Pinocchio, watching movies, and working my way through that. And I learned German, that's how I started learning German. Now I bought the Asimi series book just to booster my vocabulary. And there's Teach Yourself. There's other little books. I start listening, and then I look into grammar if the listening doesn't cut it for grammar, and like how do you use the conditional tense? How would I I want to perfect the subjunctive, because I can't really produce it well, and I do like to try. I don't have to be perfect to speak, but at some point I do want to be grammatically correct and speak a language correctly. And so yes, that's basically how I learn a language. I believe that the best thing to do is do a little bit every day. Obviously I miss days all the time. I might, if I'm really busy one week, I might miss even 5 days in a row. But then the next day I'll probably practice every single language that I missed. And since I'm, it depends on what level I am in the language for what kind of practice. This weekend I watched a movie in Russian. I had some French and Spanish conversation. French and Spanish I just use on a daily basis, just whenever it's useful. I don't actively study them. Russian, I still try to force myself to watch more Russian movies, because and to speak it every chance I get, to continue to improve it. In German, I'm still studying grammar. In Italian, I'm in between the two. So I feel like that's what people should be doing. If you want to see results, you need to practice it consistently, and I believe the best way to practice a language consistently is to do it listening while you're doing other things that you would be doing anyways. It makes it efficient, it doesn't take time out of your day, and you will be shocked after 6 months of doing this, the amount of progress you've made and how far you would have gotten if you started from 0 to going up by listening to either, say, Pimsleur, whatever, one of these other programs that I mentioned. I'm going to put links to the Radiolingua site in the box down below. So thank you for listening. I hope I sort of make sense. If you have any questions, comments, you can message me, comment, and I'll try to respond as I can. So thank you.